Blood drops onto a beautiful flower, creating a frightening scene. Some people plead for help. A lady with an injured shoulder falls to the floor and hides. Footsteps approach from behind her. Tears stream down her face. A man with a half-monster head featuring sharp teeth comes into view. The lady puts her hand over her mouth to stifle her sobs. The man, searching for people to eat, suddenly notices a lady with another man. The man warns the lady to run as a zombie approaches. Out of nowhere, another zombie, a man with a big hand, punches the approaching zombie. The man behind the second zombie looks scared and sweaty as yet another zombie arrives and attacks him. The entire zombie horde is feasting on their victims, while a lady in a red shirt, visibly pregnant, struggles to run. Her shoulder, bitten by a zombie, causes her intense pain. The impending birth of her baby intensifies her agony, and she realizes she can no longer postpone the inevitable. She tears a piece of cloth from her injured shoulder, biting down hard to stifle her screams of pain. Clenching the fabric tightly, she prays fervently for the safety of her unborn baby. In the midst of the ongoing zombie onslaught, with civilians falling victim to the relentless attacks, she clings to hope and seeks divine intervention. Due to the zombie bite, the lady undergoes a transformation. Her hands and nails contort, changing shape as the zombification process takes hold. Her eyes gleam with an ominous red hue, and she bites down on the cloth with all her strength, both to muffle her pain and to resist succumbing completely to the zombie state. 7 years later, the entire town is overrun by zombies. In a house, a young girl cowers behind a cupboard, trembling in fear. She hears a noise, indicating someone or something is approaching. A mysterious figure with sharp teeth emerges, and the girl, sweating profusely, covers her mouth to stifle any sound. The zombie lady locates her, giving the child a terrifying gaze. The child runs as fast as she can, but the zombie catches her. The zombie lady opens her mouth, and the child trembles in fear, pleading with the zombie to stop. Surprisingly, the zombie lady is the child's actual mother. The child tells her mother to stop and let her go. It turns out they are playing hide and seek, and this is the same lady who was bitten by a zombie and gave birth. The child tells her mother that it's her turn to hide. The daughter's name is Chukbok. Chukbok pleads with her mother to let her go, saying she can't breathe. However, her mother refuses, emphasizing how precious her daughter is to her and expressing the sentiment of being a mother. But to be honest with you guys, this manhwa is going to be too emotional, so stick with us. Chukbok tells her mom that she wants to go with her, but her mother keeps refusing. She screams, grabs her clothes, and insists on accompanying her mother. Tears start rolling down her cheeks. However, her mother explains that there are too many monsters outside and she cannot let Chukbok go. Despite the initial resistance, Chukbok eventually calms down, understanding the gravity of the situation from the stern look her mother gives her. She apologized to her daughter, but assured her that she would bring back Gomdal. Chukbok asked her mom if she could return quickly, and her mom smiled. Outside the house, zombies crowded the area, and a long-necked creature emerged, attempting to attack Chukbok's mom. However, she skillfully dodged the creature and swiftly threw her needle into its back, rendering it paralyzed. She managed to eat the monsters, noting that the taste was weird, but at least she felt full. The lady observed 2 people shouting at the zombies, instructing them to stop. A young girl and a boy were seen. The young girl informed the boy that the zombies couldn't move if they pointed the light at them, so they shouldn't waste bullets. The boy expressed concern about the large number of zombies, but the young girl insisted they needed to hold out until morning. Chukbok's mother observed them and wondered why they were out so late, especially with such weak light. She also considered that the sounds of gunshots would only attract more monsters, making the situation more dangerous. She thought it was time to intervene. Lady Monster charged at them, and when the 2 people saw the monster approaching, fear gripped them. The boy instructed the girl to use the flashlight. Despite the girl turning on the flashlight, the lady monster couldn't be stopped. She kicked the boy and focused on the young girl. The girl bravely pointed her gun at the lady monster. telling her to go away. However, the lady monster, with glowing eyes, continued advancing toward the girl, and the exact outcome of their encounter remains unknown. Some time passes, and we see a guy who is worried about not having any supplies. Realizing he's in a tight spot, he clutches a stone in his hand, understanding that it won't be enough to survive. His best option is to find a place to hide. But before he could hide, the lady monster finds him and points her stinger at him. The man is terrified as the stinger is very close to his neck. They both stare at each other, and the lady monster moves forward to attack him. However, to their surprise, she hugs him and says, "Thank goodness it's you, honey." She mentions that she has found Gomdal. Gomdal tells his wife that he found his backpack and reassures her that it wasn't stolen. He asks her not to cry, and the wife suggests they go home. The scene shifts to the street where the same young girl is screaming at zombies to leave her alone. The zombies are approaching her, and she pleads that she doesn't want to die and begs them not to kill her. However, one zombie tells her to turn on the flashlight. The lady is sweating profusely, shouting at the zombies to go away. Suddenly, the movement of the zombies stops. The girl wonders why they all stopped. Did they understand her words, or does she have some kind of power? However, when the girl looks behind her, she sees a monstrous figure, and the monster proceeds to eat her. The scene shifts to another area where Gomdal is searching for useful items. Everything seems useless, but to his surprise, he finds a torch. He feels fortunate to have found the flashlight and wonders if he should go back. Going any deeper might lead him to encounter monsters. Contemplating whether to go deeper or not, he takes a look inside and laughs, realizing he didn't find anything. Despite that, he decides to go in, challenging his luck. Venturing deeper into the darkness with a torch in hand and a gun at the ready, he reminds himself to be cautious. He carefully searches for anything useful in the surroundings. As he ventures even deeper, he hears a sound, and upon investigation, he discovers a monster's body, visibly wounded and lying on the floor. Realizing that there might be another monster in the vicinity, he contemplates the dangers and decides it's best to retreat and head back. Undeterred by the darkness, he carefully explores the room where the wounded monster lies. The dim light from his torch reveals eerie surroundings, and he wonders what might be hidden in the shadows. The realization hits him like a thunderbolt. The monster in front of him is none other than his own wife, Chuckbok's mother. She is nurturing their child amidst the darkness, and Gomdal is both shocked and relieved to discover the truth. The room, once shrouded in fear, now holds a bittersweet revelation about the lengths a mother will go to protect and care for her offspring in this post-apocalyptic world. And they both defeat the monster and runs away, and now the lady is the beautiful wife of the man. The couple, now reunited, manages to defeat the monster and escape. The man suggests finding a hiding spot, and they run together. As they navigate through the desolate streets, the man uses a flashlight to divert the attention of zombies, allowing them to slip away. However, the growing number of zombies poses a threat, and their flashlight begins to flicker, leaving them vulnerable in the darkness. The man unholsters his gun and asks his wife if she can handle the situation. However, his wife expresses doubts, acknowledging that it won't be an easy task. The man tells his wife that they can't defeat all the zombies, but if they get rid of a few, they can escape. He starts shooting at the zombies, but suddenly a long tongue grabs his legs and pulls him away. His wife tries to catch his hand, and he holds onto her hand. With her other hand, she grabs a rod, attempting to pull her husband back. However, the man informs his wife that his legs are about to be ripped off. The man screams, questioning the origin of these tentacles, realizing they are in a dire situation. They both notice a zombie, a monstrous figure with tentacle-like appendages for hands, approaching them. We see Chuckbok drawing, expressing her desire to see Gomdal, her father, and play with him. Meanwhile, we shift to Gomdal being pulled by the monster, while his wife holds onto the rod tightly. The monster is eagerly waiting to consume them, and the lady is concerned about the overwhelming number of monsters. She wonders what they can do in this dire situation. As they struggle to hold on, unable to endure any longer, they decide to face their fate together. Tightening their grip on each other's hands, they prepare for the inevitable. The lady, unable to hold on to the rod any longer, lets it go, and they are both pulled closer to the monster. In a courageous move, the lady uses her stinger to attack a nearby bear zombie. She pulls it off and throws it into the monster's mouth. With quick thinking, she targets the monster's tongue with her stinger, forcing it to release the man's leg from its grasp. The lady realizes that their best chance is to get to the ground where they can have better control. As they fall, she manages to grapple her husband, but the relentless monster is still attempting to reach them. Swiftly dodging its attacks, they land on the ground together. The husband, carrying his wife, starts running, determined to escape the relentless pursuit of the monsters. The monster, frustrated and hungry, lets out a deafening scream as the couple escapes its clutches. The husband, understanding the gravity of the situation, accepts his wife's strength and determination. They continue running together, fueled by the shared goal of reaching safety for the sake of their daughter. The husband reassures his wife, telling her that he, Gamdal, is strong and capable of handling difficult situations. He encourages her not to worry, emphasizing their shared strength as a couple. Her wife curing at her, thinking, "I am the reason my husband gets injured," but suddenly the lady got stabbed by the monster. Her husband screamed in horror, realizing that the monster who had stabbed his wife was none other than the creature that sought to devour them. Gamdal, filled with concern, asked his wife if she was okay. With a reassuring smile, she replied that it was just a little scratch. Feeling the pain intensify, the wife informed her husband that it was starting to get on her nerves. Her husband urged her to hold on, assuring her that he had something that could help. He yelled, "Give me a little time." Meanwhile, the monster continued to chase his wife, but she swiftly dispatched them all. Meanwhile, her husband rummaged through her bag until he found it. He threw the grenade towards the zombies, and a huge blast ensued, killing all the zombies. Gamdal exclaimed, "What a shot! I'm so glad that it actually works." As they launched a barrage of grenades at the zombies, causing a massive explosion, one zombie remained standing, albeit without a hand. The big monster stomped on the lone zombie, rendering it helpless. With a hunger for flesh, the monster turned its attention towards the wife. Her husband, feeling the urgency of the situation, exclaimed, "What do we do now? There's only one left." He turned to his wife and asked if she had a plan. His wife leaped into action, dodging the monster's barrage of attacks with ease. As she skillfully evaded each strike, she clutched a bomb in her hands. Her husband, watching in concern, exclaimed, "What are you doing? You're too far away to make a hit." She hurled the bomb with precision, her husband watching in shock as it sailed through the air. Then, in a move reminiscent of Ronaldo taking a corner kick, she swiftly kicked a grenade into the monster's gaping mouth. The grenade detonated, causing a powerful blast that obliterated the monster. With a triumphant grin, she defiantly showed the monster a middle finger, reveling in her victory. Her husband cheered her on, expressing his admiration. "Nice, that's my wife. I love you so much." They quickly made their way towards their house, and her husband encouraged her to show him the wound. To their surprise, the wound had already begun to heal. Her wife jokingly grabbed her husband's hair, teasing him. "You're the one to be careful. My goodness, your cool hairstyle has just gotten a little messy." Her husband chuckled and suggested, "Let's go in. Our daughter must be waiting for us." They entered the house, and her father exclaimed, "We're home." Their daughter greeted them excitedly, showing off her completed homework. She exclaimed, "Look at this, I finished my homework, Gamdal is back." Father and daughter shared a tight hug, and her father asked affectionately, "Awa, sweetheart, did you have a good day?" She rubbed her cheeks against his and replied happily, "Yes, I was guarding our home. I did my homework." Her father lifted her up, impressed, and remarked, "Wow, you've finished it, well done." Their daughter then requested a gift, and her mother smiled from behind. Her father rummaged through his bag and pulled out a chocolate, delighting their daughter. They shared a warm hug, and the father teased, "You only call me daddy when I have something for you, don't you?" The daughter affectionately replied that he was the best daddy in the whole world. Her mother watched with a smile and remarked, I like Gom doll better. All right, do whatever you want, little rascal. No matter how difficult. I feel energized whenever I see that smile. Whatever happens, I will protect my dear family forever. She hugged her husband from behind, beaming with happiness. Meanwhile, outside their house, a new lady appeared, and inside, their daughter proudly showed off her accomplishments. She exclaimed, Mom, look at this. I did a great job, right? Her father asked if Mom also praised her for her excellent work. Then, feeling hungry, they all decided to eat something together, while the suspicious lady watched from outside. Chuck Bak was happily enjoying her meal, while her parents watched her with smiles. Her dad asked, Do you like the food? Chuck Bak nodded and replied, Yes, prompting her dad to ask, Really? Should I bring you another one next time? She affirmed eagerly. Then Chuck Bak took a spoonful of food and offered it to her father, saying, Have a bite, Gom doll. This is really good. Her dad chuckled and responded, Oh, are you giving your daddy a bite? He took the bite and expressed his enjoyment, saying, It tastes much better coming from you. Chuck Bak then offered a spoonful of food to her mom, who seemed hesitant to accept it, perhaps due to being a zombie. But Chuck Bak insisted, saying, I'll give you a bite, Mommy. Taste it. Her father chimed in, mentioning that Mommy had said she's full now. However, Chuck Bak insisted that her mom hadn't eaten anything, to which her dad replied that he had seen her eating something. With a cute look, Chuck Bak gazed at her mother and asked, But how do you eat food, Mommy? I've never seen Mommy eating food. Her mom smiled warmly, took her daughter's hand, and assured her, I'm full, sweetheart, so no need to worry. Then she encouraged Chuck Bak to enjoy her meal. Chuck Bak, curious about what her mom eats, finds a cookie and excitedly calls out, Mommy, this is a really delicious cookie. I brought my favorite snack for you. She approaches her mother, offering her the cookie and urging her to have a bite, insisting it's really yummy. However, her mom responds with an awkward smile, thanking her but reminding her gently, Thank you, but I told you Mommy can't eat those things. I'll accept your kind thoughts. Her daughter, with a cute smile on her face, leans in close to her mom, who is now emotional. Her mom, touched by her daughter's expression, mentions softly, I can't say no to that face. Ah well, I'll just take a bite. She tries to take the cookie, but her daughter quickly pulls it away, looking at the cookie angrily before breaking off a small piece and relaxing. She then gives her mom a piece of the cookie, urging her to enjoy it. Her mom smiles softly, but her daughter insists, forcing her to eat the cookie. Her mom gently refuses, saying, I'm okay. You can have it all. Her daughter, not wanting to disappoint her, happily takes 2 pieces. Chuck Bak is confused as she realizes something's wrong. No, this is not what I wanted. I wanted Mommy to eat it. Her dad comes and asks her daughter to give him a bite, but Chuck Bak is lost in her thoughts and eats the whole cookie, mentioning, Then I should try again with another one, which makes her dad nervous. She continues to try to feed her mom one by one with different products, but her mom can't control her anger anymore. She rages at her daughter, Stop bothering me, can't you? See, I'm cleaning the house. I told you I don't want to eat it, but why do you keep doing this? To me? Cut it out. Or are you enjoying bothering me? Chuck Bak, now scared and crying, mentions, I was worried about you. I have. Never seen you eating food, so I thought you must be hungry. So, I tried to share some food with you. Her mom grabs her hand and touches her finger, thinking while crying, I made her worry because I didn't tell her the truth, that she eats the monster, not the human food. She touches her daughter's finger again and mentions that truth is. Suddenly, her mom's eyes and face turn red as if she's observing something, and we see a nosebleed coming from Chuck Bak's nose. Chuck Bak asks her mother, What's wrong, mother? Her mom suddenly transforms into a monster, her teeth resembling those of a shark. However, her husband comes to the door of the room, having heard a noise. He mentions, I just heard the door slam. and opens the door. He asks his daughter where her mother is, to which she replies that her mom went out. Her father then asks about her nosebleed, which even her daughter doesn't know about. We shift to a street where a lady in a green suit is standing, and she turns around to reveal a monster fixed to her chest with sharp teeth. Suddenly, Chuckbox's mom appears out of nowhere and punches the monster in the chest, causing it to cough up blood. She delivers another powerful punch and declares, "I'm her mother. I have to protect my daughter. Wake up. I don't eat my family." Despite being a zombie herself, Chuckbox's mom struggles with conflicting thoughts. She admits, "It's so hard to resist that sweet smell. I love the smell of fresh and young meat. I want to eat her." However, she manages to stop herself from succumbing to these thoughts and falls to her knees, letting out a gut-wrenching scream. As time passes, the entire family is sleeping soundly in bed. Chuckbox's mom reflects on her recent struggle, realizing, "I never realized how sweet a child's blood could be. It was close. Let's always be aware. I should be extra careful in front of monsters." She then whispers a tender goodnight to Chuckbox, promising, "I'll protect you forever." Chuckbox, with one eye open, overhears her mom's words and decides she'll give something to her mommy tomorrow. The next day arrives, and Gomdal prepares to leave, assuring everyone he'll be back soon. He reminds his daughter not to wake mommy up during the day because she needs her sleep. Chuckbox agrees and bids her father goodbye, requesting a chocolate bar. With a smile, she sees him off and then smirks, thinking, "Good, I can go outside while mommy's sleeping." Dressed as a construction worker and armed with tools, Chuckbox ventures outside. She encounters a zombie statue, which she breaks and investigates. Suddenly, a masked man and a woman with long hair emerge, prompting Chuckbox to hide. After they pass, she continues her search, spraying something on the wall before moving on. As she scavenges, she comes across various items like a book, a bone, and a broken object, none of which she needs. However, her luck changes when she discovers 3 candies, exclaiming, "Chuckbox can also bring the bacon home. Yay, I found 3 candies. Finally, something useful." As Chuckbox thinks about her parents, she imagines her father expressing gratitude for finding the candies, saying, "Did you find these candies, Chuckbox? Thank you, sweetheart." She smiles at the thought, realizing that's exactly the response she wants from them. Determined, she decides not to tell them she found the candies outside. She plans to give one to her mother, another to Gomdal, and keep the last one for herself. Remembering Hira, she decides to give one candy to her and quickly runs off to find her. Unaware of the masked man and the lady behind her, Chuckbox continues on her way. The lady remarks on their luck, encountering a child unexpectedly. The masked man speculates that she's likely with her parents. With a knife in hand, he suggests they could demand a significant ransom for her. The lady raises the possibility of the child being abandoned or orphaned, to which the masked man responds that they would then take whatever she has. Chuckbox continues to run, unaware of the suspicious individuals following her. They discuss potential ways to profit from the child, considering her rarity in the current times. The lady suggests selling her to a cannibal tribe, envisioning a lucrative transaction. The masked man expresses shock at the idea of dealing with a tribe obsessed with consuming human flesh, but the girl confirms her belief that they would indeed be interested in purchasing the child. As Chuckbox takes a turn, the lady swiftly retrieves her bat while the masked man brandishes his knife. Determined to capture Chuckbox before anyone else does, the lady takes the lead. The man warns her about the risk of being caught, but she dismisses his concerns, confident in her abilities. She instructs him to bring Chuckbox to her without harming her. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to them, a white-haired lady with a sharp woodcutter emerges behind the masked man. Before he can utter another word, a slashing sound fills the air, and the lady turns to witness the white-haired lady swiftly dispatching the masked man. The lady with the baseball bat confronts the white-haired stranger, questioning her identity and motives. As they lock eyes, the tension between them escalates, with the baseball bat lady accusing the white-haired woman of being hostile. However, the white-haired woman remains silent, her gaze intense and focused. Suddenly, the baseball bat lady rushes forward to attack, but the white-haired woman effortlessly dodges her assault. The baseball bat lady, feeling triumphant, mocks her opponent. However, her victory is short-lived as the white-haired woman swiftly retaliates, swiftly slicing her neck. The baseball bat lady falls to the ground lifeless, while the white-haired woman gazes stoically at her fallen foe. Chuckbok cowers behind the wall, desperately covering her mouth to stifle any sound that might betray her presence. Fear grips her as she watches the scene unfold before her. Suddenly, the white-haired lady appears and locks eyes with Chuckbok, sending a shiver down her spine. Trapped and terrified, Chuckbok remains frozen, unsure of what to do next. The lady who found Chuckbok is none other than He-Ra, and Chuckbok is shocked to see her. He-Ra asks Chuckbok where she is just as a monster's hand appears and starts to crawl towards them. Suddenly, the monster's face emerges from the hand and lunges at them, but He-Ra swiftly kills it, leaving its head on the ground. The monster's body wiggles and then disappears from the hand. Though scared, Chuckbok listens as He-Ra advises her to always check before entering a dark place. He-Ra then asks Chuckbok why she's outside and where her mommy is. Chuckbok is nervous about how to respond, but He-Ra grabs her hand and they walk together. Chuckbok starts to cry, but He-Ra reassures her with a set of rules. He-Ra's rule, number 1. I must check if there's a monster before I go inside a dark place. And, number 2. I must carry a flashlight or a weapon. Next, number 3. I must not go to a place where I hear a noise. Good. Number 4. I must not follow strangers other than Mommy, Daddy, and He-Ra. And the last but most important rule is, Chuckbok responds, number 5. I must not go outside alone. Good. Then He-Ra said, but you didn't follow the rules, huh? Do what I say mean nothing to you? Where's your answer? This made Chuckbok angry, and He-Ra continued, I've been telling you this for almost a year. You must follow these rules until you become an adult. On top of that, you can be in big trouble if you get followed by bad people. Don't you ever do this again. Chuckbok squeezed He-Ra's hand and mentioned, I know. This area. Well, so nothing will happen. And I'm all grown up now, so it's okay to come outside. She shouted, I am grown enough to go outside, so you can stop, He-Ra. But He-Ra gave her a death stare, which shocked Chuckbok. She thought, she's angry, really angry, I'm scared. He-Ra then mentioned, you're all grown up now, so do whatever you want. This made Chuckbok shocked. He-Ra also mentioned, I'll even take you to a place where adults go. Chuckbok blushed and said, the place where adults go? Ha, and Chuckbok is going there too, He-Ra replied. I'll take you there if you want to go. Chuckbok happily affirmed. Chuckbok arrived at the place and she was happy, but she soon said, it's too dark here, I want to go home. This place is terrible. He-Ra, where are you? I'm not sure. Why are you not sure? Replied He-Ra. Stop playing with me, I'm scared. Chuckbok said. He-Ra replied, what? You said you wanted to come. Chuckbok said, it's because you told me about. He-Ra then said, you're all grown up now, so you're not scared, right? Monsters love dark places like this. But adults come here because they can find valuable things. That's why this place is always filled with bloody fights. Chuckbok moved and slipped on the floor, her hands now covered in blood. As He-Ra mentioned, an adult gets out of here alive. Which made Chuckbok scared. She ran, shouting, He-Ra, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Chuckbok doesn't want to be an adult anymore. Let me go home. Chuckbok was now scared, tears streaming down her face. What should I do? I can't see anything because it's too dark. What should I do? Did He-Ra really leave me alone here? That's too mean. Is this really a place adults go to get food? In a place full of monsters like this? She trembled and cried. He-Ra approached Chuckbok and said, it's scary, right? It's dark and stinky, and you want to go home. She paused, then continued, "This is where adults go."
If you like this video, please subscribe, leave a like and comment.